Should you get bicycle insurance? What factors should you consider when deciding whether to purchase bike insurance? And what are some of the potential benefits of having coverage for your bike? I'm Hillary Topper, and this is Hillary Topper on Air, the Endurance Sports Edition. Today, I have the great pleasure of speaking with Dave Williams, co-founder of Velosurance, a multi-risk bicycle insurance policy provider. And full disclosure, they are my bicycle insurance carriers. I've been using Velosurance for about 5 years now, and I have insurance on both my tri and road bike. Anyway, Dave, welcome to the show.
Good Monday morning.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how Velosurance was born?
Velosurance was born out of a claim when I owned a general insurance agency. And we had a client who had his $2,000 bike stolen from his home. The insurance company handed him a check for $180 to pay his $2,000 bike. After they depreciated the bike and took away his deductible, that was what was left.
Wow.
And to add insult to injury, 6 months later, they increased his homeowner's insurance by 20% because he'd had a claim. So at that point, we thought that there was some better insurance for bicycles. And looking around, there wasn't. So we took a standard piece of insurance, removed all of the silly restrictions, and created a bicycle insurance policy that does nothing but cover the bike for its invested value. And the invested value being how much you've spent on the bike, the amount of money that you would lose if the bike was to become a total loss.
So tell us a little bit about who would need bike insurance. Would anybody need bike insurance? Would it just be for a triathlete who spent, thousands of dollars on their triathlon bike?
The person who doesn't need bike insurance is the person who can afford to write a check to buy a new bike if the current bike was to become a total loss or such as being stolen. So that's the person who doesn't need bike insurance. Everyone else, like me and you, I can't afford to write that check. Well, I could, it would hurt, but it's a lot easier for me to find $1,000 a year to cover my $30,000 worth of bikes than it is to replace $30,000 worth of bikes in one stroke of the pen. So you're not so much protecting the bike, you're protecting the financial loss of losing a bike.
A lot of people say, well, I don't need bike insurance because I have homeowners insurance, which you alluded to earlier, or I have auto insurance policy. If my bike is in the car or on the bike rack, then it's covered. Is that the case?
On the car insurance side, those days are gone. Your car insurance covers the car, period. Nothing else on the car or in the car. And as far as homeowners goes, some homeowners policies will cover the bike to a certain extent, but backing up to what prompted Velosurance is when you have a claim on your homeowner's insurance, your premium is subject to review and increasing. The bike is typically covered for actual cash value. And while actual cash value sounds somewhat okay, it means that it is valued at the day of loss. So you have no idea how much they're going to give you until you have a claim. So that was one of the silly restrictions that we got rid of when we founded Velosurance, is if you insure your $5,000 bike with a $500 deductible and the airline loses it, your reimbursement is $4,500, no arguments.
What coverage territory is included in your policy? Um, if you decide to take your bike overseas, is it covered? You know, where exactly is it? You talked a little bit about the plane. Is it covered on the plane? Talk to us a little
Yes,
bit about that.
the policy covers the bike anywhere in the US or Canada at any time, as well as in transit by air or road. So you don't have to tell us when or where, you're covered. To take the bike outside of the US or Canada into Mexico or over to Europe, you can, for a 10% uptick in premium, you can add worldwide coverage to the policy, meaning that the damage and theft or loss of the bike is covered anywhere in the world.
So could that happen after the fact? Like, say you take out insurance just for the US, right? And you get accepted into Ironman overseas, one of the Ironman events. Can you uptick it
You make
after
it,
the fact?
yes, you can make a change to the policy at any time. You can add bikes, remove bikes, upgrade the policy if you upgrade components, change the value of the policy to cover a new set of wheels. It's very adaptable to making any change at any time. Our clients have access to their client page. This is where all of the documents, pictures, receipts are stored. And this is where our clients manage their account through their client portal on the Velosurance website.
Cool. All right, before we move on, I just have to say that I am so appreciative of our sponsor and must take the time out to thank him for sponsoring Hillary Topper on air, the Sports Endurance edition. Special thanks to Bold Foot Socks, a family and veteran-owned, American-sewn, American-grown sock company. Now back to you, Dave. So we're talking about the importance of bike insurance. Talk to me about different scenarios, and if my bike is covered for instance, if it's covered for overnight storage at an event in a transition area, or if a car hits the back of my bike on the bike rack, or if the bike falls off the car, you know, is that all covered?
Okay, the bike is covered at all times in transit. So you don't have to be riding the bike for an accident to happen. It could be damaged while it's on your car, and it's covered. If it's stolen outside of the inside of the car, it's covered. For a theft, we need a police report telling us how the bike was secured at the time of the theft. For a triathlete, the bike is covered at all times in the transition area, unlocked, doesn't need to be locked, and it's covered for up to 24 hours. So unless you're a really slow swimmer, 24 hours should be plenty.
Okay. And how are bike insurance claims handled? Can you walk us through the process?
For a theft by the airline, you get an airline report that your bike has gone missing and we don't know where it is. We wait 30 days to see if the airline finds it, and most likely they do. We've had a lot of bikes returned, unfortunately, long after the event, but they are returned. In the case where a bike goes missing on the way to an event, the policy will pay up to $250 to rent a bike for the event. And if you are unable to compete in the event and the bike is not recovered, we will pay up to $500 of the event fee. That is also reimbursable if our client has a claim before the event that won't allow our client to enter the event. So you're on a practice ride somewhere, you lose the bike out from under you. The bike is damaged to the point where it's not going to be available for the event, and so you cancel your trip. We'll pay up to $500 of the entry fee.
So how long does it take to get a settlement?
On a theft or loss, it's 30 days. We don't want to be in the bike owning business, so we wait 30 days to see if the bike is recovered. For theft, the bike is almost never recovered. For airline loss, typically the bike is recovered eventually. For a damage to the bike, we need a repair estimate and pictures of the damage. And once we have that in hand, that check goes out within a couple of days. The policy pays for retail, less your deductible. We pay retail for all damage repairs to the bike.
And what company financially backs Velosurance?
We partnered with Markel Specialty Insurance Company. They are a segment of Markel American Insurance Company, founded in 1933. And we've been doing continuous business with them since we started the project in 2008, and I've been doing continuous business with them since we started issuing policies.
Now, why would somebody go to you as opposed to Markel directly? Is there a price difference, or what's the difference?
Premium's the same, policy is the same. Dealing with Velosurance, you're always dealing with someone who's a rider. So we understand what you need and when you need it.
Agree. And also talk to us a little bit about additional or optional coverage like roadside assistance that Velosurance offers.
Okay. Roadside assistance is provided by a third-party vendor, and we no longer recommend roadside assistance with this vendor because we had a fair amount of complaints about them showing up or not showing up late or not showing up at all. One, that was reflecting badly on Velosurance. And two, we felt that could very possibly place our client in a situation that may not be safe. It's one thing to sit in your car waiting for AAA for an hour and a half to show up. It's another thing sitting on the side of the road in the heat or in inclement weather, hoping that they're going to show up. So we stopped offering it. We will provide it, but we only provide it with the transparency that you're buying something that's not perfect.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. And finally, can you tell people how to get in touch with you and learn more about Velosurance?
We're a 100% digital company, so we don't produce pamphlets and brochures and flyers and things. Everything is done online at velosurance.com. We have a chat line. We have a toll-free number. We have email. We're very easily contactable. The chat line works during business hours. After business hours, we return that chat the next day. I am in the Fort Lauderdale office, and my other partners are in Colorado Springs.
Tell me just a little bit before we wrap this up about your bicycle experience, just riding.
I'm a mountain biker. So all of my bikes are full suspension, fat tire mountain bikes. I prefer not to be on the road with seemingly driverless cars.
Great. So where do you find a spot to ride in Fort Lauderdale?
Uh, I I call my time. I spend 5 months of the year in Colorado
Hmm,
and 7 months of the year in Florida,
hmm.
and I just call my time. I'm just treading water while I'm here. I'm just getting my lungs and my heart up to speed while I'm here, and I get my legs back when I get back into the hills in Colorado.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for being on the show. And if you want more information about Velosurance, it's velosurance.com. I'd also like to thank our sponsor one more time, Boldfoot Socks, a family and veteran-owned American-sewn, American-grown sock company. For more information, visit boldfoot.com. I also want to thank our listeners for tuning in. If you want more information about this show or any other show, visit our website at hillarytopper.com or find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, even Apple Podcasts. We're out there, so you can find us. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.